everyone, welcome to the channel. For today's card project, I'm going to be making an adorable shaped Mother's Day card. And forgive me, I'm still sucking on a lozenge, otherwise I'll cough. I'm going to be using Your Cutie paper, 6x6 paper from Pixi Dust Designs. I used this one. It's gorgeous. And then I'm using the new My Best Tea set from Pixi Dust Designs. It makes the teapot and the cup super duper cute, and it comes with the sentiment. I love that she's doing that. And then additionally, I'll be using the Starshine background from Spellbinders. It does a little pattern into the background of the cardstock or the card layer. And then we're going to be doing a shaped card, so I'm a hexagon shape. So I'm using the first die from this set and the third one in from this set. And this is Basic Shapes Hexagons from Simon Says Stamp. So I'm very excited about this card. Let's get started. So to get started, I used the largest hexagon die and I cut a card base out of ivory cardstock. And I had one edge of the die over the edge of the paper, so I did not cut into the fold. And then using the third largest die, I cut the layer for the card. And so now I embossed using that die from Spellbinders, and I'm doing just a little ink blending along the edges. And then I'm taking the panel, the ivory panel, and just dipping it in my ink so there's a pink edge on the panel. So I've cut my cup out of seafoam cardstock, and then I'm using Catherine Pooler's Minted to do a little ink blending around the edges. So now I'm coloring the tongue for the mouth on the teapot, and I used, I think, RV19 Copic. And then I tried using a gray for this, and it just wasn't dark enough. So I do go in and go back over the mouth and do it in black. So that is the mouth for the teapot, and now I'm gluing the eye with the eyelashes onto the pupil, and I'm gluing together the teapot. And I did go over the edges of the teapot with Catherine Pooler Ink's Be Mine ink. I do come and use, I can't remember which Copic marker, it'll come to me, to add a shadow layer. And I do believe you see that, because it just wasn't dark enough. So I'm assembling the teapot. It's pretty easy just by looking at it. You don't need any special instructions at all. So now I'm going over the edges of the eye so that the white trim doesn't show. Gives the eye a more finished and complete look. So I'm adhering the winky eye. So cute. And now there's the open eye. And I didn't glue it where I wanted to. So I end up, so that's mistake number one. I ended up making 3 mistakes on the teapot, so I ended up making a new one. Just so you know. I'm getting the winky eye down. And now I've got the open eye down, and then we'll put the smile down. And she's adorable, and I'm trying to clean all the adhesive off, and I ended up getting a little ball of paper, and I was kind of done with it. I'd make one more mistake on it, and I'm just like, I'm done. We're doing this again. So now I'm assembling the teacup, and that comes with really darling closed eyes with eyelashes that make it look like you're squint smiling, or the teacup is squint smiling. So I love that. And you always want to turn the mouth like just a little bit sideways. It adds a little more personality. So now this is the tea, and it's part of the die set. So I'm coloring it with my Copic marker, and I believe that is an E57 I'm coloring with. And I did use an RV19 on the tongue. So we're going to go ahead and adhere the tea. Perfect. And then I decided that my shading wasn't dark enough, so now I'm coming in with a BG32. Copic marker to add just a little more shading. And it's quick and easy. I think I'm doing this only at double time, so it's not like I was doing really difficult shading. Just wanted a little something around the edges. And you could come in and do pink rosy cheeks on this if you wanted, because it is such a sweet little cup. So this is RV, I want to say RV04, I think, or RV02. I think it's RV04. Just getting it a little darker. And that's me doing these cheeks. I didn't like them. They didn't line up right. Didn't use that teapot. So here's my new teapot, and I'm figuring out where I want my sentiment to go, getting everything arranged so that I have the card the way I want it, so that it's in the right spot. So bringing in my Misty. And we'll get that layer on there so we can get that sentiment stamped. And I thought it would be really hard because I did the die cutting into that paper, so there's, you know, all those little holes from that Starlight background die set. Worked no problem. And I am using VersaFine black ink, so I think that's why, because it's such a nice rich dark ink that it worked perfect. So I had to go VersaFine Clear. There we go. I couldn't come up with the name. Pardon my head. And it didn't take much at all. Stamped really well. Perfect. Okay, it's a double-sided paper. Look at all the cute little teapots and everything on the back. So adorable. So gluing the decorative layer to the base layer, and then that base layer will go on the card base. Give it a second to dry, and now we're ready to add the feature items. This whole release has so many cute things. So we'll let those dry, and now I'm using a selection of Catherine Pooler sequins in order to get the colors I want, because on each row I did a sequin that matches the color of that stripe on that row. So now we'll get our decorative panel added to our card base. And that will finish our card. All right, so here's the card we made together. I love the colors. They're so pretty. And so there's plenty of room for a sentiment, and it's a different shape, so it'll be memorable, but it doesn't really add any more work. And you can see the pattern from using that background die. Adds just a little bit more to the really pretty paper. So, and then here's the teapot we made together that I didn't like. I mean, I screwed up on it so many times. There's a little piece of paper right there. I mean, I'll figure out a use for it, but it wasn't going on this card. So I redid that. That's what this one is. But as a reminder, we used this wonderful die set, my Bestie. And you can do certainly without the darling faces on it and use another sentiment you have, for sure. Something about a cup of tea, that kind of thing. This works great for. Speaking of which, there's the wonderful fancy box set that's out with this new release. And so I made one Mother's Day-ish. And so I used that same sentiment, Mom, you will always be my bestie. And then I made a little cup and put some tea in here. And my sister became a grandma for the first time today, so I'm going to give this to her to give to her daughter-in-law from the baby. But isn't that adorable? It's so pretty. And if you use salt, I could have tried to match the pattern here, but my brain wasn't working that day. But this is paper from Pixi Dust Designs. I think it's called Bella Floral. But the paper we used that is just so fantastic is this one, and this is from EuraQT. You know what, and let me pull it out. So that's what's left of what I used. But look at that. How cute. So this is the perfect paper pack to go with the You're My Bestie die set. I mean, it's just adorable. The perfect paper pack. I think we're on repeats now. So there's that. And then I used the Basic Shapes Hexagon from Simon Says Stamp. I'm sorry. Getting over a cold and I'm not doing well. So here's the set. And I used the largest one and then the third largest one for the card. And this is one of my new favorite dies. It's called Starshine Background from Spellbinders, and it does a great background. And so it's subtle, but it adds, even if you have a really fun paper like this, it adds it just a little bit more onto it. So thank you so much for joining me today. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.